Welcome back, everybody. This is the final of 6 parts in my lecture series on graphing using transformations. If you haven't seen the first 5, you're gonna need them for this video. Let's get started. As we saw in a previous video, the order of the transformations matters, and generally speaking, we want to work our way inside out. But that comes down to this mnemonic. Heroes stopped the ruthless villains. We do a horizontal shift, then we do our stretches, then we do our reflections, and then we do our vertical shift. Let's use the heroes stopped the ruthless villains to help us out with this example. And I'm going to make myself a little bit more room here. So, first of all, I start from my parent, like usual. My parent for this one is x squared. Or excuse me, x cubed, since I've got a cubic here. I know then that 0, 0, 1, 1, and -1, -1 are all on my graph. And the sketch of my graph looks something like this. For the parent function, that is. Next, heroes. H. My horizontal shift says to move by 2 to the right. Move 2 to the right. Let's do it. So, 0, 0 is going to move to 2, 0. 1, 1 is going to move to 3, 1. And -1, -1 is going to move to 1, -1. And now I'll be left with something like this. After my horizontal stretch. Heroes stopped. S is my stretches. I don't appear to have a horizontal stretch because I don't have a coefficient on X. Instead, I've just got a vertical stretch, and really this is kind of a shrink by 2. I'm going to cut my outputs in half. 1, 1 now goes to 1, 1/2. Or excuse me, 3, 1 goes to 3, 1/2. 2, 0 goes nowhere. 1 minus 1 goes to 1 minus 1/2. And now I've got something that looks more like this guy. Next, I go for ruthless or reflections. Here, I don't actually have any reflections. Notice my input variable isn't negative, and I don't have a minus sign on the output either. So I don't have any reflections to do. Last but not least, villains. My vertical shift, I do have one. I want to move 1 unit down. I want to move 1 down. So all in all, I get this guy as the final answer. Let's try another one. Why don't you pause the video here to see if you can tackle this problem on your own? You need to forgive my lousy drawing, but this is what the final answer should look like. There's a very important catch here, being before I can label what my horizontal shift is, I need to make sure I don't have a coefficient on the X. Here I've got a 2, so I need to factor that 2 out first. And now I see that my horizontal shift is 1 to the left. So I move from the black line to the gray line. That would be my horizontal shift. From there, now I see that I have a shrink horizontally by a factor of 2. So I move from the gray line to this faint green line here. Then I reflect over the y-axis because I've got a minus sign on my input. So I flip over to the dark green line, And then finally, I've got this +5 on the outside, so I shift up 5 units to the final answer, which is the bright lime green line. That is going to wrap it up for this lecture series on transformations. I hope that you can remember that the hero stopped the ruthless villains to help you remember what order to graph your transformations in, those being horizontal shifts, stretches, reflections, then vertical shifts. Catch y'all on the next one.